kumalizia sasa, na pia kwa budget inayokuja ya mwaka 2020-2021
fedha zipelekwe kama ilivyopangwa.
Kuanzia sasa waziri mwenye dhamana ya TAMISEMI ndiye kwa niaba ya halmashauri atakuwa anasimamia, anakusanya ushuru wa huduma kutoka makampuni yote ya simu, halafu anaugawa kwa halmashauri zote nchini.
Two small-scale miners at Irasanilo gold mine in Biatika, Magunga village, Butiama district Mara region died last night, and 4 others were injured after debris fell on them at 2 shafts that had been closed because of safety issues. The Minister of Minerals, Dr. Biteko, has visited the scene of accident to talk to the miners on the incident.
Those badly hurt have been taken to the hospital, but those who were critical were taken to Butiama. It is possible that things somehow did not go as they should. That is why this happened. From today, working during the night is prohibited. No one is allowed to mine at night. All injured and those that have died, the owner of the mine, according to the law, has the responsibility to transport the bodies and cover burial expenses and treat those injured.
The police force has provided a preliminary report on the attack and injury of the leader of opposition camp in Parliament and chairman of Chama cha Demokrasia na Maendeleo Chadema, Freeman Mbowe, by unknown assailants on June 9th this year at his residence in Dodoma.
Mashaka hayo yanaongezeka zaidi pale tulipobaini kuwa nyumbani kwa Mheshimiwa Mbowe.
We were able to establish that at Honorable Mbowe's residence there was a young man by the name of James Mbowe, which he did not see it right to involve him in this matter that had occurred at their residence, and rather chose to inform someone else who was far from the incident. According to the investigation we've conducted on 8th June 2020, Honorable Mbowe visited a couple of places including Royal Village, whereby he consumed alcohol. When he was admitted at the hospital, he was found to be heavily intoxicated to an extent that he was not able to speak coherently. Investigation is going on to establish exactly what happened. We ask anyone with information to come forward so we can establish exactly what happened.
Kiasi cha kushindwa kutamka maneno sawa sawa.
Some European countries have begun to recognize and commend the steps Tanzania has taken in the fight against the coronavirus, as the directives given by President Dr. John Magufuli are on par with the environment and realistic situation in Tanzania.
We've all agreed that COVID-19 is an illness that is new, and every country took measures necessary to address this pandemic according to the environment in an individual country. They understand the decision taken by Tanzania, and we spoke about different measures taken by Tanzania to fight COVID-19, and despite the decline in cases, that we've continued to urge our people to take precaution to stop a second wave.
Residents of Tambukareli in Morogoro Municipal have been forced to sleep outside over 3 days after their houses were destroyed due to conflict that emerged between them and a person claiming to be the rightful owner of the 14-acre area where 40 houses have been built that need to all be demolished.
Mihuri hiyo je walichonga au mihuri inatambulika na serikali?
They should tell us if the rubber stamp, if it is recognized, then we have the right to live as Tanzanians.
Mimi sijalala na sitashindwa hata kuongea. Nikiona wenzangu wanavunjiwa nyumba na tumeuziwa kihalali, kwa kweli mimi sikupendewa.
It is hard to see my neighbors' houses being demolished when we bought land.
Hatua ya kwanza nilifikiri kwanza nilifanya jambo la kuwaita nani?
I called those affected by what has happened so I can assess the situation, but was only able to meet a few. However, what I found out is the court had already made a decision.
Mbali paku nani. Kwa hiyo nilishindwa jinsi ya kuweza kulichukulia hatua kwa sababu kila nilichojaribu kutaka kukitazama ni kwamba tayari kumbe mahakama imeshatoa maamuzi.
The Prevention and Combating of Corruption Bureau headquarters, Bureau PTCB in Dodoma, has continued with questioning of members of parliament from Chama cha Demokrasia na Maendeleo Party, Chadema, on issues of MPs' salary cuts. 15 MPs were questioned today, bringing the total number to 24 as the exercise continues.
There is the main council and central committee which decides on how the money should be used, and most of members of parliament are also members, so they know how it is spent. So by claiming that they don't is baseless.
Ni jukumu la wabunge, sisi kama wenezi wa chama, sisi kama viongozi.
We must give 10% of our income to help the party. We were assisted too by those before us, so I have a responsibility to help fellow members and the party. I approved in writing and by signing too, so I could authorize 520,000 per month to be deducted from my allowance as a member of parliament.
The government has given 6 months to Ngorongoro Conservation Area Authority to ensure it completes the construction of infrastructure to scientifically preserve the remains of early man, which are over 3 million years old, at Laitole area in Ngorongoro District, Arusha region.
Hizi nyayo kwa sababu hazipatikani mahali popote duniani.
These footsteps cannot be found anywhere else in the world, so we have a duty to protect them for future generations in Tanzania and across the world. As a ministry, we take pride in protecting them.
Kapata mfumo wa kuzihifadhi zikiwa zimefunguliwa pengine.
Once we are able to display them in a way that doesnit any interference, then we shall do so.
Hili ni eneo la kihistoria ambalo linaelezea
It demonstrates how the first human evolution took place.
Kwa ile tabia ya watu kubishana kwa binadamu walikuwa nyani, ule mgogoro wote unamalizikia hapa.
Heads of statistics institutions from 16 countries have met to discuss statistics protocols among SADC member countries that will help them have a legal organ that organizes the development of statistics as well as its use in setting various countries' agendas.
Sasa itifaki hii ambayo tumeipitisha leo nchi zote kwa pamoja.
The procedure we've established, all countries, has about 10 sections. The first one is to allow it to be a body to assist statistics officers in SADC to gain political will in collecting statistics in SADC member countries. If there is a lack of political will in statistics, you cannot achieve much.
Political will ya uzalishaji wa takwimu katika nchi za SADC.
The end of national news. International news follows next. Welcome back, and in international news. Burundi's top court has made a ruling aimed at ending the power vacuum created by the sudden death of President Pierre Nkurunziza on Monday. The Constitutional Court said that President-elect Evariste Ndayishimiye should be sworn in as soon as possible. Now, legally, the Speaker of the Parliament, Pascal Nyabenda, should have become the interim leader, but the cabinet decided to refer to the court, and now Mr. Ndayishimiye is due to become president in 2 months early. President Yoweri Museveni of Uganda has directed the Minister of Health to verify coronavirus statistics after a report indicated that some people who were confirmed to have contracted the virus had not been infected.
These 679.
The 679 cases include some people whom one of the laboratories classified as positive, while they were not. According to Makerere Laboratory, it shows that there was only 3 cases. The Ministry of Health must come forward and give answers on the rest of these numbers. Kenya has confirmed 90 new coronavirus cases, bringing the total number of positive cases in the country to 3,305. Health Cabinet Administrative Secretary Rashid Aman said all the new patients are Kenyans.
I am delighted to inform you that today we have discharged 72 patients from various hospitals who have recovered from the disease. This brings to 1,164 the total number of those who have so far recovered from COVID-19. Today we have tested 2,000, over the last 24 hours, 2,419 samples, bringing to a total the number of tests that we have so far conducted to 108,666. Of these 2,419 samples tested over the past 24 hours, 90 have returned positive for the virus. And this number now brings the total number of COVID-19 positive persons cumulatively to 3,305.
The number of coronavirus infections in Rwanda has gone up to 494 after 18 new cases were confirmed in the last 24 hours. The Ministry of Health has said the new cases were from Rusizi district in western Rwanda, and others were of Rwandans returning to the country from abroad.
In the East African region, we still have
In the East African region, we still have some issues to resolve, which are not necessary to be brought to this meeting, although we still have to come up with solutions of impacts of coronavirus and how to combat the disease. I believe that my fellow president from Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, understands what I'm talking about. We also regret the untimely passing of President Pierre Nkurunziza of Burundi. Our condolences to the family and the whole country at large.
Understands what I'm talking about.
And that is the end of international news. Business news follows shortly.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
We believe that the driver is the customer.
To change the mindset of traditional HR to the digitalization.
Make sure that everybody can get some access to financial services.
And once we understand the vision of our leaders, we then need to be behind them and help them in achieving that vision.
Business have involved mercantile operations, trade guilds, or shared agricultural production, infrastructure, construction, financial sectors, tourism, and mining. Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back, and in business news tonight, Tanzania Private Sector Foundation TPSF has said the 2020-2021 government budget will help to speed up economic growth as priority has been given to key sectors such as development of strategic infrastructure.
Ni bajeti iliyojikita katika kukuza uchumi. The
budget is focusing on economic growth as well as enable Tanzania as a country to be independent economically. By doing so, we're supporting our president and the whole government at large, because this budget has not affected development projects which are implemented by the government at higher cost.
Miradi mikubwa ya maendeleo ambayo inaendelea kutekelezwa na serikali kwa gharama kubwa.
Stakeholders in Mtwara region have said ongoing disagreement between Tanzania Kishna Board and cooperative unions on importation of packaging sacks, which are supposed to arrive in the country next month, will have negative impact on Kishna sales in this year's buying season.
Kwamba vyama vikuu nendeni mkaagize magunia toka Januari mpaka kufikia mwezi wa 5.
It has been 5 months since we have not pressed orders for sacks.
Mkoa kama iwezekani basi CBT isiwepo.
Regional Commissioner, if possible, let us find other means of speeding up the process without involving CBT. If you look at things that are taken to CBT, are many.
Wanatufanya vibaya. Korosho ukiangalia kwenye warehouse vitu vinavyokwenda CBT ni vingi.
Energy and Water Regulatory Authority, EWURA, in Arusha region has warned fuel wholesalers not to violate requirements of operating licenses in order to avoid stern action against them, as well as incur heavy losses.
EWURA inaagiza wafanyabiashara wote kwa ujumla au oil marketing companies.
EWURA is directing oil marketing companies to sell fuel according to prices set, as well as adhere to their licenses requirements. Meanwhile, EWURA is warning oil marketing companies which are refusing to sell fuel to petrol stations and stop the habit of holding the commodity, because by doing so is going contrary to their license. And that marks the end of business news. Sports news follows shortly.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment of going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's being dragged through the second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment of going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's being dragged through the second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Opposition, Joaquinho, he did lose to Lendl.
And in sports news, Yanga Sports Club coach Luke Email and striker David Molinga have finally joined the team's camp in Shinyanga ahead of the mainland Premier League game against Mwadui on Saturday.
While coach Emael arrived late from his native Belgium owing to travel issues, Molinga was among the players left behind as Yanga traveled to Shinyanga ahead of the first match against Mwadui on Saturday. The club's assistant coach Boniface Mkwasa, who was sitting in for Emael, could not reveal the reason for dropping the Congolese import, but confirmed they will miss the services of another player, Bernard Morrison, through domestic issues. The Congolese striker, who had trained with the team since the ban on sporting activities was lifted before he was left out, has traveled alongside Emael to Shinyanga on Friday.
Lugalo Golf Club has organized an internal competition which will involve 2 players at once with the aim of protecting their players amid the coronavirus pandemic.
Kwa ajili ya kuweka motisha na kukuza vipaji vya.
The aim is to motivate and develop the talents of our players, and so we will make competition between players who have similar abilities and see who wins. So we just want to challenge the players and grow their talents.
Kutoa changamoto kidogo kwa wachezaji na kukuza vipaji vyao.
Premier League players will wear the words Black Lives Matter on the back of their shirts in the opening round of fixtures upon next week's restart. Here more details.
Will replace the footballers' surnames in one of the several initiatives marking recent events agreed by the clubs at a meeting yesterday, which also include a minute's silence to honor those who have died as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. The shirt tribute was proposed by a group of Premier League captains and Professional Footballers Association representatives, with moves underway to ensure kit is prepared appropriately. It will not be the only new piece of design on players' kit, with heart-shaped badges paying tribute to NHS workers and Black Lives Matter badges also being embroidered. The placement of the latter is yet to be finalized, although the invention is they will be displayed on the front of shirts.
The Japanese, Singapore and Azerbaijan Grand Prix will not take place this year, Formula One has announced.
3 meetings were under consideration to be part of the season's flyaway rounds when the sport leaves Europe. Formula One remained confident, however, that they will still be able to host between 15 and 18 races this year. The sport made the announcement that the meetings will not form part of the new calendar this morning. Formula One intends to publish its full revised race schedule for 2020 before the Austrian Grand Prix opens the season on 5th of July.
La Liga may welcome back supporters before the end of the season, according to the league's president, Javier Tebas.
Last night, with the first of 110 top-flight games to be played by 19th of July, although it is so behind closed doors, there are hopes a limited number of fans may return at some grounds soon. The government's protocol for the relaxation of the lockdown allows for the return of fans from 29th of June. That would potentially mean stadiums opening their doors for 5 match days before the season is concluded. When plans were put together for the return of football, the understanding was that the league will be completed entirely behind closed doors.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin for tonight. My name is Khadija Zimbwe. Thank you for watching and good night.
News live on our social media accounts.